Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and this is another Beat Matt Batrep.
We work so you can play. MiniWarGaming's Beat Matt Batrep.
And yes, I am playing the cooler. I'm playing against Owen. We're going to do a 35-point game of Warmachine. It's going to be Khador versus Menoth. And I haven't played Menoth for a little while, so I usually have problems against them. But then I guess I usually have problems against most armies with my Khador.
I've only played Khador once, so
well,
that makes me feel better.
Yeah, we're going to play a very basic scenario. It's just kill a caster. No special rules. Just, you know, every once in a while it's nice just to trim back the rules and just go at it with a slugfest. Not really worrying about where you're positioned, except for killing the other caster.
Says with a Weapon Master army. It's fair, I brought a Weapon Master army too, so...
It's actually kind of funny, because we're somewhat matched up in that area. No, there's all the special abilities.
Yeah.
Completely different on both sides. Actually, let's go take a look at the armies, as well as the deployment. We're going to look at my 35-point Khador army. Decided to bring back an old favorite, and that is eButcher, with his, I think this is his tier 4 list. And so there's eButcher right there. Epic Butcher. He's crazy. He generates random amount of focus every turn. And he's a homicidal maniac. And his battle group are 2 berserkers. Yes, one is missing its arm, which is sad. It's seen a lot of battles, so it lost its arm. And then he has 3 groups of Doom Reavers with their unit attachment, the Greylord Escort, which gives them tough and silence. Silence makes it so they don't have to go berserk. And we've got Fenris mounted and on foot, and Yuri the Axe. So it's a themed force. And it's awesome. It's a very, very strong list. I knew I was going to go against Owen and against a Menoth list, both things which are tough. So I wanted to bring a strong army so we'd have a good game. He had decided to bring Harbinger, a 10-focus, awesome warcaster that has a really good feat, which we'll get into later. And to the right, we have the Devout, and the left, we have a Vigilant, just light war beast or warjacks, just to give him some protection. And out front here, we have Filman, something or other, basically just a hero that's good at hitting hard. And then we have a Paladin on the right and Rupert on the left. We got a group of Exemplar Bastions. These guys actually get to share damage, as you're going to see later in the battle report. And they've got Reach with Weapon Master. And then we've got Knights Exemplar, also Weapon Master, but no Reach. These guys, as each of them die, they get +1 armor and power for every other one that's died. So they get stronger as they die. And then a unit of Exemplar Avengers. These are nice, fast cavalry, and they hit hard. And that's about it, though. There's nothing too special about them other than that they are cavalry. So that is Owen's 35-point Menoth list. So lots of Weapon Master Reach against lots of Weapon Master Reach. So it's kind of an interesting comparison here. We rolled off. I got first turn. We're doing a very basic scenario, which is just caster kill, not using any special rules, just 10-inch deployment, no kill box, no objectives, no nothing. Just kill the other person's caster. Every once in a while, it's nice just to play a game like that. So I deployed first, but since all my Doom Reavers and Yuri are advanced deploy, all I had to deploy was Epic Butcher, his Berserkers, and Fenris. And then the rest will move up. Now Yuri has some nice rules when he's in the forest, so I'm obviously going to want to deploy him there. He has Camouflage, which gives him +2 defense, while he has Concealment, which the forest gives him. He also has Tree Walker, which basically allows him to ignore forests for line of sight and everything, and he has Pathfinder, so he basically loves forests. So it'd be fun to play him on a board that's very heavy forest. And then the Doom Reavers, I'm just going to spread out, one in the middle and one on each flank, because I just want to charge up and hit them as hard as possible. And that's really all you need to do with them. Since the Doom Reavers have Spell Ward, which basically means they can't be targeted by spells, whether friendly or enemy, you can't really buff them, you can't really do anything to them in general. So you just kind of, they're independent, which is nice. They don't have to stay near the caster, except for the fact that Butcher's feat is awesome. But we'll get into that later too. So Khador turn 1, I generate my random focus, and it's D6 +1, so he gets 3 focus. And then the Doom Reavers are just going to move. I can run, but I'm just going to move him up a bit, because I don't want him to be able to charge me first turn, because that would be bad. I am a little faster than him, except he has the cavalry, but his other guys are pretty slow. So I'm hoping to be able to get the first strike on him. And then Fenris is going to run over to the flank to kind of go up against his cavalry. And then Butcher's going to move over and cast Fury on Yuri. It's an upkeep spell that gives him +3 to his melee damage roll, so he'll be Power plus Strength 16 Weapon Master. with Thresher, which basically means he gets to attack everything in line of sight when he makes an attack. And then these Doom Reavers are just going to run up to his other flank. The guys that they're facing are slow, so they don't have to worry about getting charged in the first turn. And that's it. That's really it for the turn 1. There's no real shooting attacks here. So Menoth guys are going to move forward, and you can see his 2 Warjacks are just going to be used as a shield for his Warcaster. And then he's going to do his feet. Now, and here's his foot. Ready? Ready? Foot! So it's actually a foot, not a feet. But Harbinger's feat is basically any models, any enemies that advance and end in its control area, which is 20 inches. If they end closer to him than they started, they take a POW 14 hit, unboostable. And he's giving tough to these guys as well, as everybody else advances. And if you think about that, that basically will kill all the Doom Reavers. They do have tough, so there is a chance that they could survive it, but it's a 1 in 3 chance. So basically it shuts down your opponent's army for a turn. Now that would be a big deal if we were playing a scenario where we were trying to grab objectives in the middle or where you had to get into zones. But since it's not a scenario that we have to do that, it's not too big a deal to me, as you'll find out in a second. But it is a really good feat otherwise, because Power 14, unless I was a heavy Warjack army, would kill a lot of my guys. So it basically forces me not to be able to move forward, because otherwise I'll die. And except for maybe my Jacks and maybe Butcher, they can move forward. And so he just kind of runs all his other guys up. He's not worried about me charging him for good reason. So end of round 1, he can see how close he is to me, and yet I'm not able to charge him this turn, which is too bad. Otherwise, well, obviously he wouldn't have positioned his guys the way he did if I was able to charge him. And so he's ready. He wants to get the Alpha Strike in, even though he's normally slower, and I'm not going to want to let him do that. So, generate some random focus here. I get 4 + 1, so I get 5 focus. I'm going to use 1 to upkeep Fury, because it's cheaper to upkeep it than to pay for it. And then my strategy is going to be simple. I'm going to step backwards. See, this is where the scenarios in Warmachine, the Steamroller tournaments especially, with the kill box, where basically if you stay back, your caster will die, they kind of come into effect. It makes his feat much more powerful, because you wouldn't want to move back, so you'd basically have to take his Alpha Strike. But I'm just going to kind of position everybody, and I just say, nah, I'm not going to move him back. And I don't want to go too far back, because I still want to be able to charge him next turn. But, and here's the fun part. Now I'm going to move these Doom Reavers back, and I'm going to let Butcher be the one who's out front, because unlike every other caster I ever play, Butcher is best when he's the one that charges in first. If you're on the opposite side against a list like this, and you see Butcher charge you, you're in trouble. That's basically the way it comes down, or what it comes down to, because he is awesome, as you're going to find out when he does actually get to charge, which we'll get to, we'll see when. Anyway, so just moving back, I know this is really boring at this point, because I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to deny your Alpha Strike as much as possible. But now he's going to get to try to do his charging. So Menoth turn 2, Rupert moves up and gives these guys, I can't remember what it's called, but it gives them tough, essentially. And tough is where you get to, if you lose your last wound on a 5+, you heal 1 wound. And so it's kind of nice for them. And then he's moving up his Knight's Exemplar up onto the hill, getting ready to be able to take a hit or to dish one out. Moving his Jacks up behind with Harbinger as well. He wants to keep Harbinger close, because Harbinger gives -2 to melee attacks to anybody within his command, which is 12 inches or 10 inches. And then he's going to cast CC, I can't remember what that, it was a close combat one. It's like, I can't remember what it's called, but basically it gives +2 to the movement when you charge. So it's basically boundless charge, but everybody in his control area gets it, which is awesome. So these guys get a nice long charge. They get 13-inch charge, because 8 for their speed, +2 for that spell, +3 for the charge, and then they have reach. So they're all going to charge Fenris, which is obviously going to be a little bit of overkill, because Fenris isn't actually that hard to kill. He's armor 16 while mounted, and then armor 14 while dismounted. He hits incredibly hard, but he also dies just as easily. So the first one's going to do his charge attack, and he hits, and that alone kills him. So Fenris is taken off of his, and now you don't die when you're a Dragoon, you just get replaced by your guy without the horse. But that means everybody else with their reach is going to be able to attack him next. So another charge attack, and that one brings him down to, well, it kills him, but he makes his tough roll. So he's knocked down. So the next guy and the next guy auto hit him and auto wound him, so he gets 2 tough rolls and he fails one of them. So it actually took all 4 of them to kill him, which is pretty awesome. And then he's moving up his Paladin, and then the Paladin activates the ability that gives him +5 armor. So basically he gets to hold his shield in front of him and says, yeah, you just try to hit me. And then his Exemplar Bastion move out front, because they are the meat shield. The Doom Reavers have Berserk, which basically means if they kill something, they get to attack again. Well, the Exemplar Bastion are perfect for countering that because when you hit them with an attack, they can choose to spread the damage out amongst all 5 of them, so it's really hard to kill them. On top of that, Harbinger can choose to save somebody by taking D3 wounds, so it can really shut down Berserk really well. So end of round 2, now it's my turn to get the strike in, and I am within charge distance in some areas, especially you can see it on the left flank there, and his Exemplar Bastion. So just stay tuned for round 3, where you get to see Khador do its thing. Now the whole army obviously won't get in, but it's going to be fun. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the annotation here for the next part, or just click on the link below. Happy wargaming.